Are you an abstainer or a moderator? I'm Jackie Elmer. Let's talk about abstaining or moderating certain foods and beverages while on the carnivore, keto, or any type of food protocol that you may be following. Grab my guide at lowertoxiclife.com. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of this great information. Now, there are people that fall into one of two categories typically, and I don't care if it's any type of food or beverage that you're talking about, whether it's alcohol, sugar, ultra processed foods, seed oils, French fries. There's a whole caliber of type of foods that are out there, whole categories of types of foods that are out there where we have to decide, are we abstainers or are we moderators? The reality of it is most people think that they can start by moderating. I know for me, when I was really cutting back and eliminating alcohol out of my life, I would do dry January. It was great. I could commit to 31 days and I could eliminate that. And most often, when I first started doing it, February 1st, I hit it hard. Like it was countdown the last week until February 1st when I could pop open that bottle of wine and enjoy it or whatever. So I went from being an abstainer to jumping right back into the craziness of over drinking, which is basically what it was. So in some ways, my attempts at dry January didn't do super well. Now, I've shared before, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I haven't had such an issue with that. But I know for some people, they have a hard time with that. If they eat one cookie, they want a dozen cookies. If they open the bag of potato chips, that's not sugar, but it kind of is. It's the same type of addiction. They trash the whole bag of potato chips. So these are areas where it's going to become super important for you to decide, do you have the ability to moderate or do you need to become an abstainer? Because for many, many people, they can't do both. We start down that path of moderating. It sounds great, but then pretty soon the apple cart gets upset. And I know, again, back to my own alcohol journey, I even wrote out an entire plan where I was only going to drink 8 days out of the month. It's like, I'm only going to drink on weekends or this. And I factored all this in. I did all this crazy stuff. And I look back now and I think, it is crazy to try to jump through those kind of mental hoops to avoid something that I basically know is toxic for my body and my brain anyway. How about I just quit? Now, I'm at the point now where I can be a moderator. If you've watched any of my stuff on alcohol, one of my things was I could never stop at 1 glass, but I could stop at 2. There was something about it. I always had to have that second glass of wine. I don't know what it was. I could easily stop at 2. So it wasn't like I had a major problem, but I had a problem with my off meter. And that was one of the things that really bothered me that I really wanted to get fixed. Now, I've heard people say that with sugar and fruit and artificial sweeteners and even the fake sugars, the allulose, the monk fruit sweeteners, the stevia, those different things. Some people can do fine with those, 1 or 2 drops, and it's great. But some people, they get that in their coffee in the morning, and the next thing you know, they're off to the races. Pretty soon they're craving chocolate bars and Twinkies and just all different types of things because our brain does get addicted. That dopamine hit, our bodies get addicted. Our food supply is so different today than it used to be. And it's basically, the food scientists have designed it just like the tobacco industry, who now owns most of big food, kind of designed it the same way to pretty much get you addicted. So it's like so many different things. A true addict can't just have 1 glass of wine. They've got to just keep going until they're in the gutter. Same with drug addicts, same with sugar addicts. So you have to decide for yourself, where are you honestly in the process? And some people can't even eat fruit because fruit sends them down the rabbit hole too. There's been a huge thing circulating over the last year on the sugar diet where you eat nothing but sugar foods and you lose weight and all of this. I haven't watched even one of those videos because I have no interest in that. I know that sugar is toxic. I know it's not healthy. I have a mother who basically died from diabetes, complications from it, and most of it was self-induced just through lifestyle choices and an unwillingness to change on that. I've watched the negative effects of that. And I, have decided for myself, that's not my path. That's not my journey. I'm here to live a long, functional, healthy life. And I don't need sugar in my life in order to do that, to be happy and to enjoy my life and enjoy all types of social settings. But I heard about that, and then there was a group of the top women out there of the in the carnivore arena. They actually did a call and kind of confessed their own little journey checking that out. And several of them were like, yeah, it's a no-go for me. I have to be a complete abstainer, because it was, one day in and I was already rehooked again on sugar and, the beverages and all that kind of stuff. And, foo-foo coffee with all the extra additives in it. So that's where I want to ask you again, are you a moderator or are you an abstainer? And the best way you'll know for yourself is to really test it. I always recommend keeping a food journal and test it. When you eat something, test and see where you are. Now, for me, I don't have any problem not having dessert. It's never been an issue. But I will tell you, I will confess for you where I do have a problem. If I'm at a restaurant or even at somebody's house for dinner, not so much somebody's house, but if I'm at a restaurant and we get dessert, I almost always eat the whole thing. It's like a sunk cost issue where if I'm paying for it or if it's in front of me, I can't let it go to waste. I'll let it go to this waste, but I don't want it to go to waste in the trash can. I don't know what it is. It's a psychological thing, because I can walk away from cookies, cakes, pies, sweets. I love chocolate, but I went cold turkey April 13th, 2025, and walked away from chocolate, at least until I heal my oxalate dumping issue with certain foods. So I know for me, I know what my limits are. I know what my maxes are, my minimums. I know what all of that stuff is. And so I'm not going to constantly test that and take myself down the path of not being successful with the things that I'm truly committed to being successful with. So drop me a comment below. Let me know, are you an abstainer or are you a moderator? And have you ever tested it? And if you have a story to share of a success or failure with either of those, I would love to know. Grab my guide at lowertoxiclife.com, subscribe to the channel, watch my carnivore-ish playlist here on YouTube, where I share some of my starts, my stops, my failures, things I do differently, things I've succeeded at, and all things around the space of carnivore, ketovore, and carnivore-ish, and an animal-based lifestyle.